What's happening, everyone? MC Moto here. Today I wanted to take you through my 2016 Ninja 300 ABS and just tell you a little bit of history about it and the mods that I've put on it. I know when I was starting out, I wanted to know anything and everything about what people are doing with their bikes to be a better rider, to be a safer rider, maybe a little bit with the aesthetics as well. So with that being said, I'll start. This is Ninja specific. Also, if you own a Ninja or you're looking to buy a used Ninja, I think now's a really good time to get a Ninja 300. The 400s are awesome. One of my buddies has one. It is more powered. It has a better dash, and there's a couple little things that they've changed that make the bike an overall better bike. But chances are you're most likely going to only find mostly new Ninja 400s. The 300s, which they made from 2013 on to basically I think last year, are a really good starter bike. They're a really good track bike from what I hear. I haven't taken it out personally, and I'm just starting to get really comfortable on this bike. I took it up to the twisties and kind of challenged myself a little bit after, many weeks of practicing and doing little drills in this parking lot here, especially with the Moto Jitsu drills, and shout out to Fast Eddie. So just to let you know, this is a 2016 Ninja 300 ABS. And some of the mods that I have on it, I bought this used, so it came with a bunch of these mods, which was great. I bought them actually from a female rider who I've learned are the best riders to buy from. And the reason I say that is because in my experience, in my friend's experience, and specifically in my personal experience of buying this bike, the rider took such good care of this. I got this bike with only like 4,500 miles on it. I put about 1,000 on it. And it was like in new condition. The only thing that was wrong with it, quote unquote wrong with it, was you'll notice that on this side I don't have the decals on the fairing, and on this side I do. Very minor thing, probably wouldn't even notice it unless I pointed it out to you. That's because the rider dropped this at a stop sign at 0 miles per hour, just braking too hard at the front brake just as she came to a stop, and she tipped it over to the other side. She was a smaller rider, and she scratched up the fairing. No big deal. The only other things that happened, this little nick here, and then on the exhaust, there's like a little bit of a nick here. But aside from that, she actually bought new fairings and changed it out. And so now I have and she gave me the extras when I bought the bike, so I have like an extra left fairing if I ever need it. So I guess if I ever tip this bike, tip it left. But the other mods, so getting into the mods, here's what I have on it. This is a touring windshield. It's made by Stream, it looks like. She had this on there. I put the sticker on there. But this touring windshield is a game changer for me because I'm a taller rider. I'm 6'2", and when I'm on this bike, especially at higher speeds, the bubble shield here does a really good job just putting the air above me. So I don't even need to go into a full tuck or even a half tuck, really. I just kind of keep my arms bent and scoot forward and down a little bit, and there's a nice little airstream goes right over me. I can't imagine having this bike at my height with a regular screen that comes stock with the bike. I think it would be too small, and I think it would really buffet me around a little bit. What else? Came with this nice RAM mount. The way it works, you can see it's mounted right into the handlebars here, right here into one of these ports. And yeah, it's an X grip, so you just pop it open and pop it closed. It's nice and secure. You can kind of move it a little bit. Came with that RAM mount. It came with these Pazzo adjustable levers. And these are some of the highest quality levers that I've seen on a bike. And I was really thrilled she put these on there because, you can adjust them however you want. I tend to like having my front brake a little bit closer when I'm on the twisty so I can trail brake with less fatigue. And it's just easier for me to have finer control. When I'm just street riding or doing normal riding, I usually have it at like a 3. And it's not too much of a difference, but there is a comfort factor when you're trail braking and you want your hand up like this. It does a good job. So I highly recommend these levers. They're high quality. They don't fold up like some crash levers do. Then again, I hope I never have to use that feature or lack thereof. But they are very high quality, I can tell. I had them on here since I got the bike and haven't failed me yet. Alright, so we got those. What else? Oh, so this is one mod that I did. I got these spacers from, I believe it's SW-MOTECH. And the reason is because, as I said, I'm a taller rider. So when I'm sitting on the bike, when I didn't have the spacers on there, I noticed my elbows and my basically knuckles would be blocking a bunch of the mirror. I basically only had about this much of the mirror to work with. And, you know, no matter how much I would move the mirrors, they just simply weren't long enough. And these little spacers, which I think were like $50 for both of them, do a really good job getting the mirrors out a bit more while still keeping them on the same plane that the manufacturer has the mirrors on. And, you know, they're really simple, but they fit really well. You just thread them in there through your bubble shield, and then you put a little bit of threading glue. I'm blanking on what it's called, but and you just screw them in there. It's really easy. You can open these up with the simple Allen wrench kit. So got those on there. What else? I got, oh yeah, so this little strap hanging here, what this is, it actually connects to my Helite vest, which you probably can't see on me unless you look in the mirror. But my Helite vest is something I ride with, especially when I'm going through the twisties. It was an investment for me. When I bought this bike, I told myself, whatever gear I buy, I'm going to buy the best that I'm going to use for as long as I can and feel as safe as I can. That was a priority for me. Riders sometimes have, you know, the aesthetic look, which they want to be all slim and cool and black, and I get that. For me, I was willing to sacrifice that to have some bulkier gear that I thought was very comfortable. And I'll do a separate video on my gear. But anyway, what this is for is this latches into my Moto Helite vest when I'm on there. And if I'm ever off the bike on a crash or something like that, the connection here is on a ball bearing on the vest. It'll come off, and the vest inflates within a tenth of a second, so it's like a little airbag. What else I got in here? My latest mod on here actually are these tires. These are Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3 tires. I just finished scrubbing them in. You can see I kind of worked the tire to about here, just in front of the logo print there. So I could probably work with another ½ inch or so on this side. These tires are great. Yeah, and look, you can see I'm more hesitant to turn right because I got a fatter chicken strip on this side. That's because my throttle side is on here, and you tend to easily turn left more than right. So that just means I need more seat time to get more comfortable. But anyway, these tires are great. They totally change the feel of the bike in a good way for me. And what I mean by that is these tires on their profile have a little apex right in the top. And you can really tell, even at slow speeds, that will just cause the bike to easily tip into a turn. Honestly, you think about turning right, and your body will put the slightest amount of pressure, and the bike automatically just dips in right. And I really love them. They make me feel much safer on the road. They're way grippier. I've had no issues with any traction. Not that I really did with the stock tires, but you look around in the forums, you talk to people that have these bikes, and they'll tell you the stock tires are probably the worst part about this bike. So if I could do this all over again, the very first thing I would do after getting this bike is, if the stock tires are on there, is to change them. And I would recommend the Diablo Rosso 3s. They just are better. They're just the best thing you could do for your bike. You should buy the best mattress. You should buy the best shoes. You should buy the best tires. There are things that keep you comfortable, things that keep you safe in terms of the tires. There are things that you use every day. So don't buy an exhaust. Spend that money on getting tires. That being said, if after you want to do something fun like get an exhaust, knowing that it's not going to make you a better rider, just possibly a louder one and a better looking one, do it. I'm considering getting one myself because I've put it off for so long, and I thought, hey, why don't I treat myself with the understanding that I understand it's not going to make me a better rider. Because I think people often get lost with that. These Yoshimura Sliders, you can see they're kind of right around the engine here. They were put on by the previous rider, and yeah, they haven't had to use them yet. Hope I don't have to, but they're great. They're on both sides. I would prefer to have racing rails. There's an old YouTuber named TLR who really popularized the Ninja 300, I think, on YouTube. Since not so active, but he had racing rails from 905, I think, Racing Tech. But yeah, they're really hard to find for this bike now. I would prefer to have racing rails, but I don't want to have to drill into the fairings because I plan on reselling this bike at some point. It's okay, buddy, not yet. And yeah, I want the peace of mind of knowing I'm protecting my engine and my fairings. So they kind of go from here down to here, and they latch in. But they do widen the bike a little bit if you're lane splitting like you can here in California. And again, I haven't been able to find any online that would fit this bike that are readily available for sale. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that. I probably won't put any racing rails on them, but it's a thought. We'll see. What else did I do to this bike? Another thing the bike came with is, if you look down here, you see these? These are the Gerbing heated controls. So I got two different ones, and there's a port over here where you can, right here, where you can plug in any Gerbing gear. That includes heated gloves, heated liners, heated jacket, heated insoles, heated pants. Everything that Gerbing makes is compatible with this bike. I live in California, so I haven't really had to use these. I just wear liners under my gloves, and I don't even like riding when it's, under 55 out. I have the luxury of saying that. There's probably people in Wisconsin that are shaking their fist at the screen right now, but that's just me, so I haven't had to use them. But it's nice to know they're there. Plug them right in and stay nice and toasty. So I think that about covers all the mods I have on this bike. I didn't do too much to it. They're mostly comfort mods, safety mods, and yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to get an exhaust next just for the hell of it, because I will say this does sound does sound like a sewing machine at high speed, but that's okay. You don't need it to sound mean or like something that it's not, but I do like the sound of a motorcycle, so I think I might upgrade that just to see how I like it. Final thing before I let you go. I forgot to talk about these. These are grip expanders. I got this idea from TLR. I have bigger hands. I wear size 10 gloves. And when I first got this bike, the grips seemed way too small for me. They're about this length or they're about this wide in diameter. Maybe a little bit more than these bar ends, which I think are also a mod, actually. I didn't think about those. But, yeah, I just didn't like them. It felt like I was playing with a toy, or like my hands would get kind of cramped or tired. I just didn't feel like I had enough control with little grips. These are great. They were like $10 off Amazon. I put some soap in them with some water. Just slid them right on there after taking off the rubber grips. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. I wonder how they'd feel like if I ever took these off, but these feel like the right size to me. My hands go all the way around, so let's go ahead and reject that call. So there you have it, everyone. That is my 2016 Ninja 300 ABS. If you buy cones, you can use these passenger pegs as little holders for your cones for parking lot practice, which is what I was doing here. But yeah, that's my bike. Thanks for joining, and more videos to come later. P.S. I sat on my bike and realized there's one more thing that I forgot to show you. The very first thing I did when I got this bike was add a gear indicator. This was really easy to do. This is I think it's Idea gear indicator off Amazon. And as a beginner, I wanted to know what gear I was in without having to look, somewhere else. So I glued it right there next to the dash. The wiring goes through. You just got to take off a few fairings all the way to the back seat. There's a little port that's empty. You can plug in the end of this wire right to the port. It connects to the bike's ECU, and it'll tell you what gear you're in. And for me as a beginner, that was, really great to have, and I still use it to this day. And you can get it in different colors. I went with red to keep with the theme of the bike, and I recommend it if you want to be comfortable as a beginner. You don't need it. You can learn without it, but just one less thing to think about when you're starting off, figuring out how to do all the controls. Okay, I promise, that's the last thing. Ride safe, ride early, practice often, and I'll see you guys later.